Hi, in this lesson we're going to look at what are some of the common uses of halves, quarters and eighths. Sometimes we might use the word half when talking about time. On this clock we can see that the minute hand has gone halfway around the whole clock, and it's halfway between 10 and 11. So that means it's half past 10. So sometimes we use half when talking about half an hour. A lot of different kinds of foods can be broken or cut into halves. You can see on this yummy biscuit, we can break it down the middle here and we'd have 2 halves to share with a friend. Sometimes we need to measure half of something. If I was making a paper aeroplane and I was using a nice piece of paper and I needed to fold my paper right down the middle, that's halfway across. So I would need to measure halfway between there and there. So that's 2 halves of the paper. 1 half, 2 halves, and halfway is right down the middle. Now let's look at quarters. Again, with clocks, we sometimes use the word quarter to describe an amount of time. In this clock, starting at o'clock, which is at 12, we've gone a quarter of the way round on the minute hand. That means we've done a quarter of an hour in time. On this clock, it is 2:15. Just like halves, sometimes we cut our food into quarters to make it a bit easier to eat. Here's a sandwich and it's cut into 4 equal parts. That makes quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. When we cook, we sometimes measure a quarter of a cup. If a cup was this big, then a quarter of a cup might only be that big. That would be half a cup, 3/4 of a cup, and then that's the full cup. Can you see there's 4 parts there? Well, this part here would be 1/4, just like in this little cup. Now let's talk about eighths. Again, food is something that we might use the word eighths in. We cut pizzas into 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Each one of those pieces of pizza is 1/8. It's 1 out of the 8 pieces. And here's some more yummy food, chocolate. In this piece of chocolate, let's count how many bits there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each one of those pieces of chocolate is 1/8 of the chocolate bar. Alright, now what I'd like you to do is have a good look at all of these pictures that we've got here in this pink area. There's some of the pictures that we've used to help us learn about halves, quarters and eighths in this lesson. Now I'd like you to pause it and think about which area do you think each of the pictures belongs to. Is it representing halves, quarters or eighths? When you're ready, you can press play again and we'll do it together. We'll sort them out into the 3 blue boxes. Press pause. Okay, let's have a look. We'll start with the paper that we folded to make a paper aeroplane. Have a look at how many equal parts there are. That gives you a clue. Where do you think this one belongs? It belongs in the half box because we folded it into halves. Next one. What about this pizza? How many equal parts are there? Where does it belong? It belongs in the eighths box. What about this sandwich? Where do you think it belongs? How many pieces does it have? Well, it has 4 pieces, so it belongs in the quarters section. How about a biscuit? Where does this biscuit belong? How many equal parts does it have? It has 2 equal parts, so it's a half, 2 halves in that biscuit. One of the clocks. Let's look at the red one first. Remember we talked about how far around the clock the minute hand had gone. In this clock, it hasn't gone all the way around. How far around has it gone? That will give you a clue. Well, it's gone a quarter of an hour around, so it belongs with the quarters. Let's try the other clock then. In this clock, how far has the minute hand gone around? Starting from here, how far around the clock has it gone? Well, it's gone half a way around the clock, so it belongs in here with the other half objects. What about this one? It's the measuring cup, and that's a pretty easy one because it's got a big clue on it. Yep, it belongs with the quarters. And the last one, the yummy chocolate. How many pieces does it have? Which fraction is the chocolate bar representing? Yes, well, it has 8 pieces on it, so it could be divided into eighths quite easily. So there you have it, some of the common ways that we can use halves, quarters and eighths. Awesome.